sound great. Good volume. You must be really nice on your mic.
Yeah, I'm still not liking the black head on the white. Huge thing.
Would you like it better if it was a white head on a white mic? Or do you just not like it, period?
It just looks like a dick to me now. It didn't used to look like a dick when we had the spit catcher on there, but now it looks like a penis. Looks like I'm talking into a penis.
Well, let's go with that. Hey everyone, this is episode 74 of My Mom Sandy. We're your hosts. I am Josh Fasten, and the woman next to me thinks her microphone looks like a penis. This
big penis
is My Mom Sandy.
A big penis.
Wow.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we used to have this spit catcher on it that was like a, how would you describe it? A cage.
It's a screen. It's like a windscreen type thing.
Yeah, that kind of went over the front of it. So you were talking basically into the screen thing, and now you bought these little black
condom heads.
They look like black hats for. This looks like a hat for
all the big podcasters. They all use these. They don't use what we had before. So just saying.
Well, all right. It's just like I said. I just feel like I'm talking into a big penis. That's all. I don't usually talk to penises.
Are you sure? What about boot goods? Do you talk to boot goods? Do you rub the boot goot and talk to it?
I try to stay away from boot goods because I find that boot goods tend to cost me money. You know, buy two, get two.
Right, that's what you're still going with that. So last week was a fun episode. That was fun. The animation came out great. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, Sam, you're doing a good job. I hope. Why don't I see it like on the? Why do I only see it if I follow you or if I go to My Mom Sandy? It used to come up like, you know, like in the main screen of Instagram. I don't know that much about Instagram, so.
Well, the main screen on Instagram doesn't show you your stuff. Doesn't show you like your posts necessarily. I mean, it does, but by the time from where we posted it to the other shit that's on, I mean, you would have to go back quite a, you know, and it's also not, it's not like, it used to be like a timetable, like the post would come in real time. Now I think it's more of just like this algorithm that just puts the things where they need to go.
And then takes it down really quickly as well, right?
It doesn't take it down. They just kind of disappear into like Instagram land.
I call that taking it down. It's no longer available to see.
I call it the boot goot boogie.
The boot goot boogie. That sounds good. All right, I'll buy that.
Good. So we don't have a ton to talk about this week, but I think that one of the things that I wanted to touch on it because I thought it was interesting and it happened a few weeks ago. But me and you were on the phone. And do you have any other housekeeping stuff or anything else you need to say? Or are you good? Can we go into this, or do you want to? Is there anything you want to maybe?
Well, kind of. But I want to say something about there's been I mean, you may call it political, but I don't call it political because I think it's just showing you a point here. We have a issue in LA County with crime, and the crime rates are really up. Apparently, the sheriff Villanueva had a press conference a couple days ago and talked about how murder's up. I thought he said 85, but I'm reading 95% from this time last year. Vehicle theft up 40%, assaults, rapes, everything's up. So what they're doing, because the police have been defunded, so we have less police. And because we've let criminals out of jail, or we don't prosecute criminals, or they don't get in trouble for anything, if it's, the shoplifting thing for under $950. So since we don't do that, the sheriff is now issuing more concealed and carry permits to the residents of LA County. So basically what he's saying is we need to kind of take care of ourselves. And I think that's kind of scary, especially, although I was reading that, in order to get one, you have to go through like training and shit. It's not like, oh, I'm going to apply for it and I get it. You have to do classes and range, gun safety classes and gun laws in the state of California. You have to know those. You probably get tested. So But it's just kind of an interesting thing. I think I'd rather not have guns in the general population as opposed to, people that are trained to use them, even if they sometimes use them incorrectly,
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think that this is all, it's a little ass backwards, right? Like, there's a guy on my hockey team that has, that he has a concealed carry, and I feel like, hold on, I gotta turn. Okay. And he, there is a whole thing that you have to go through to get him to be able to carry the gun or whatever. But I just think that, yeah, we're going about this ass backwards in the sense that, like, the idea here, I don't think, is to put more guns out there,
Well, according to the sheriff, and he was if you listen to the news conference, he was very blunt about it. He said, that he didn't see the city council doing anything about this. Crime is way, way, way up.
But what did they think was going to happen by releasing prisoners from jail?
Well, you see, that's the problem. There lies the problem. I feel like the politicians that run the state, and also some of the stupid people that vote in the state, because why would you vote to release prisoners early? Or if a judge says, oh, the prisons are overcrowded, so we should now release prisoners. And we've released all the misdemeanor prisoners, and now we're going to release, felony prisoners. And that's, still, that's a felony once they've even plea bargained it down, I
like that I like that we do 2 episodes of like funny, cheerful kind of topics. And then we're like back into like deep political California. Like, which is fine. Like, I have no problem talking to you about this.
Well, it's again, these stats and this news conference came out like 2 days ago. So,
look, I think that
I was kind of blown away at the fact that he was so, he was very blunt about what's going on, and that you don't prosecute criminals, you let them out of jail. There's no consequence, blah, blah, blah. We have a district attorney who doesn't really care about the victim, only cares about the criminal. So on and on and on he went. And to be honest, I didn't know that those were his viewpoints on it. But basically what he says is, what do you expect? Just like we've said, what do we expect when we let people out of jail, when we go soft on crime? What do we expect? I mean, it's like you can let people, it's different to rehabilitate somebody while they're serving time as opposed to not punishing them at all. Because if there's no punishment or no rehabilitation immediately following the crime that you've committed, then again, you feel like you've gone without being punished. So why shouldn't I do it again? It's like they've closed stores because stores have gone out of business because of this, $950 theft. I mean, you can steal $950 worth of stuff and there's no problem. And stores are basically just letting people walk out with the merchandise. So it's like, if that's the case, then what do you expect? It's just going to continue to get worse. And I sometimes feel, I think I might have said this once before to you or I said it to somebody, that I feel like I wish I wasn't a person of integrity, or maybe I said it to Sam, that I wish that I could just go in a store and steal stuff.
What would be the first thing that you would steal? Like if you were like going to go out right now?
Probably groceries. I'd probably go steal groceries.
A couple boxes of Cheerios and you're like, catch me, motherfuckers.
Hey man, I'm talking about, listen, I went to the grocery store yesterday, which by the way, that's another interesting story. Went to the grocery store yesterday, spent $99. I don't think that I would need to steal more than that a week. I mean, come on. It's just my weekly fucking groceries. I'm not selling them on the internet. I'm just using them from myself. But I would not feel good about stealing. Even if I was like super poor, I don't think that would still be an excuse to steal because stealing is wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like people maybe don't look at stuff like that anymore. As it being wrong or right. It's just like,
I think that if you're someone who's done, if you're someone who's in jail for something and you've been released, whether it's because of COVID or whatever, then I think that already your moral compass is probably off a little bit, right? So all of a sudden, like stealing or taking a catalytic converter from a car, or, I had a client who told me the other day that there was a neighbor of theirs in broad daylight, like somebody pulled up, had one of those like, when you like work on the car, like underneath the car, the little bed with wheels,
Oh yeah.
And like broad daylight, went into the driveway of the neighbor, got on this little thing. The person was like, I don't know what they're doing. Literally like rolled under the car, with like a wrench or something. And then like 3 minutes later, rolled back out, put the stuff, got in the car, drove off, took the catalytic converter.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't know if you can do it with a wrench. I think you have to have because I've seen it.
Well, whatever.
Done. I think you have to have a saw of some sort.
Yeah, they had something.
Like an electric saw, yeah. It makes a little bit of noise. But yeah, I know. It blows me away. Is that was local too, right?
No, I think she's down. I think she's like Long Beach area.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like shit like that's happening. And I think, it's stuff like that. It's now, I mean, I see these signs even in Redondo where it's these, the light up fucking things like lock your car, like if you see something bad, say something, and it's just like,
yeah,
fuck, this is where we're at now. Like, lock your car.
I know.
It's such a different world than it was 20 years ago, but again,
well, have a gun.
All right. But to
protect yourself,
if you're letting criminals out of jail and you're kind of not even giving them a slap on the wrist, you're just saying, well, this is okay, just go keep doing it, then they're going to keep doing it, right? And then now you get into a point where it's just like, well, here everyone can get a concealed carry permit. I mean, I don't know.
Everybody's crazy people running around with guns. I mean,
Well, I mean, there's already crazy people running around with guns, but like, I'm always reminded, like, I think it's Australia where like there are no guns, like there's no guns.
I don't believe that.
It's somewhere. Is it Australia? Europe?
Because I think if you confiscate all the legal guns, you could do that. But I don't think you can confiscate all the illegal guns. I mean, it's possible that Australia doesn't have any guns, but it's not like they don't have crime. I mean, I don't think England allows you to have guns either. They have like knife attacks and machete attacks and shit like that. So it's like, I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. If somebody wants to kill you, by golly, they're going to find a way to do it. Run you down with a vehicle, whatever,
Yeah, Australia has some of the most comprehensive firearm laws in the world. Less than 2 weeks after the Port Arthur massacre, all 6 Australian states agreed to enact the same sweeping gun laws banning semi-automatic rifles and shotguns, weapons that can kill many people quickly. They also put more hurdles between prospective gun owners and their weapons. Yeah, I mean, they have a 28-day waiting period, thorough background check, and a requirement to present a justifiable reason to own a gun.
See, now here you used to have to have a justifiable reason to carry and conceal and carry. But now, according to the sheriff in LA County, the reason is self-protection.
Yeah, I mean, look, it says
simple.
The number of Australia's mass shootings dropped from 11 in the decade before 1996 to 1 in years since. Although the laws were designed specifically to reduce mass shootings, the rates of homicide and suicide have also come down since 1996. I mean, again, if you take guns off the streets, right? And yes, there's probably always going to be the crazies that can get access to the guns, whatever. But if you take the majority of guns off the street, rather than saying, well, if anybody wants a concealed carry permit, go for it, then I think that you start solving smaller issues. Yes, you're going to have the bigger issue of illegal guns and crazy people still trying to be able to get them. But, I think you're moving in the right direction rather than saying, well, let's keep releasing people. Let's keep not punishing people for, small crimes.
See, the thing is that's the thing is the sheriff can't do anything about those things. He can't change the laws. We, the people, the stupid, idiotic people in the state of California, voted in those propositions. Proposition 47, which changed some felonies into misdemeanors, and there was another prop that let people out of jail early. And on top of that, the governor is letting people out. I heard they're going to let 70,000 more people out of jail in California. It kind of blows my mind, really. And it's very scary. And I think to myself, I wouldn't mind having a gun at my house. But I would want to take classes and do all that, I get me a big one, too.
Oh, really? What kind of gun?
I don't know. I don't know what's out there. I don't know much. I mean, maybe what's a Magnum 45? Magnum. Wasn't that movie with Clint Eastwood?
Was that the movie? Or,
I don't know. Was there?
What is that?
Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry. Didn't he have a
big Magnum in his pants?
I don't know if it was
a little man rocket.
I think it was probably in his little holster.
In his small holster.
No, in the big holster on the side, not the one in the front. So anyway,
all right. So let's get into this.
Yeah. So anyway, we got problems with that. But I one other thing I want to talk about real quick.
All right, go ahead.
What's his name and I are talking about doing a plant-based diet, and like I said, I went to the grocery store yesterday, spent $99. What I bought for us to eat this weekend, I have these plant-based cookbooks, and I bought stuff to do a recipe for cream of asparagus soup. Oops, sorry about that. And for this coleslaw that I've made before that I really like. So I just want to tell you that it cost me probably between $20 and $25 to make this soup and this coleslaw. That's fucking expensive. I don't know how. And on top of that, you can't buy like vegetables for a week.
Oh, I mean,
right?
$99 at the grocery store. I mean, for me, like that's a steal. Like if I come in under $100, I mean that almost never happens.
But that's the thing is that you're buying all vegan stuff,
right? But that's what I'm saying is that
I added, like I said, I added $25 to $30 just to buy, like the raw almonds and the raw cashews and
But you also don't eat, and I mean, look, I'm not
almond milk,
right? But I'm not the healthiest. I don't eat the healthiest, although I am, I am vegan, I'm plant based, but. Typically, like, I mean,
But are you really? I mean, can you eat hamburger buns?
What do you mean, can I eat hamburger? Yeah, I mean, there's vegan hamburger buns.
So what do they just take out the egg?
I guess. I mean, there's tons of bread that doesn't have.
My friend Maxine several years ago gave me the book. I think it's called Eat to Live by Joel Fuhrman. And pretty much his whole thing is really vegan. I mean, it's just, there's no like imitation meats and.
Well, that is the whole thing, right? Is that like, and that's why I just said, like, I don't think that I eat the healthiest, right? Like, I'm not the guy who's like, oh, breakfast is going to be, oatmeal with fresh fruit. Although I do eat that quite a lot, but, lunch is going to be a salad with extra vegetables. Dinner is going to be a cauliflower steak with a side of quinoa. Like, yeah, there are times where I'm like, I'm going to make a Beyond Burger, or I'm going to.
What the fuck is a cauliflower steak? Is that a bunch of cauliflower browned so that?
No, it's like a head of cauliflower that you like cook up and season, and you serve it, and you can like cut it. It's like, it's like a steak, a cauliflower steak.
So what does it taste like?
Cauliflower.
Oh, well, what do you season it with? Just salt and pepper, or is there something magical?
It depends. I mean, whatever you want to season it with. Like, I mean, just whatever. You can do like za'atar if you want it to be a little bit more Mediterranean. You could probably do like make up a curry if you want it to be a little bit more Indian. You could do salt and pepper if you want it to be a little bit more basic. Like, whatever you want. If you have like a, some sort of.
But if you're like marinating chicken in like a mixture of, say, salad dressing and soy sauce. You can't really marinate a cauliflower like that. I mean, whatever seasoning you put on the cauliflower has to be in powder form.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would just get like, it would be like a soggy cauliflower,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
So what is it like? Does it crisp it up like a?
Well, like you cook, like you like put it in the oven, like you bake it, and then it like kind of softens it a little bit, so it's like it's not like you're eating it's not like biting into like a carrot, like a raw carrot,
right? Right.
But yeah,
but you can still slice it like a steak.
Yeah, because it's like a cauliflower, so you like slice it and like comes off in like slices of cauliflower. Yeah. It's not like all of a sudden you just have like a plate of like like broccoli. Like raw broccoli cut up or something in the shape of cauliflower.
Oh, okay.
But what I was saying though was that that's not like I do have the thing where sometimes I'm like, okay, well I'm gonna have I'm gonna have a Beyond Burger, or like just the other day it was like Memorial Day weekend, like, you know, I had a couple like veggie dogs, you know, and you know, it's not the best thing for you, but I think, you know, in moderation, it's probably okay. And I think that some of that shit still is probably better. Like, I think eating a Beyond Burger is probably better than having like a thick quarter-pound fucking hamburger cooked on the grill with butter buns and butter buns.
Oh, that sounds pretty damn good to me. But,
you like that, huh? Or like a ketchup taco seared in ketchup.
You brought me that one. Was it a Beyond Burger that one time?
No, I brought you an Impossible Burger.
Impossible Burger. You know, it was okay, but I'm going to tell you, it does not taste like a regular hamburger to me. It just doesn't taste like meat to me. I probably would have to, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think there's a lot of.
I don't like tofu either, so.
Yeah, I don't think that there's tofu something that you could soak in like a marinade and then either fry it up or bake it or something.
Tofu's too fucking weird.
You're too fucking weird. I'm sorry.
White chunks of guck. I don't know what the.
No, it's like a more firm marshmallow, you know.
But it doesn't taste like a marshmallow, and on top of that, yeah, I think the texture of it's the most disgusting part.
Oh, tofu's so good, so great.
Really?
But anyway, what I was saying was that, you know, it's not cheap. It's not cheap to do it, right? And especially if you go the route of like, you know, hey, every lunch and dinner is going to be something affiliated with like fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. Yeah, you can't buy that shit. You can't go grocery shopping on a Monday and have groceries until Sunday because that shit goes bad. You know?
Oh, I know.
And that's a big problem too. I mean, there's been plenty of times, and I'm sure we've all done it, where I'll go to the store and I'll buy, you know, I'm like, okay, well, this week I'm going to do, I'll do like black bean tacos or black bean like burritos, where I'll do like black beans and I'll do sometimes like some onion tomato, some avocado. I'll get a little bit of like, there's like a fake, like Colby Jack, like shredded cheese. I try not to do like too much of that, but I feel like it just, you know, if you're going to do a taco or burrito, you got to have that.
Well, what do they make that out of? Cause that to me, I almost feel like, because that's the thing with Furman is like no dairy and
those are all like a lot of those
wheat.
are nut based, but like you don't have to have them.
The cheeses are nut based.
Yeah, and you don't have to have them, right? Like I don't have to put that in my taco. Like I choose to, because I'm like, oh, I just like I want to have that feeling.
What's a taco without cheese? You got to have cheese on a taco, for God's sake.
No, it's like if you do like street tacos. Like street tacos don't have cheese.
You know? That's true.
But anyway, my point in all this was that, you know, I'll buy like a thing of lettuce, right? Whether it's, you know, I'll buy a package of like butter lettuce and I'll, you know, come home and, you know, cut it up for tacos. But I mean, if I don't use that in like 2 or 3 days, I mean, it's disgusting. It's like brown.
Yeah.
Like you open it up and you're like, what the fuck happened to my lettuce? You know, and that's happened a lot, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to plan so that you don't have excess, so that, you know, you're using what you're buying before it spoils.
Yeah. And like Peter and Caitlin,
go ahead.
I was going to say Peter and Caitlin are great. Like Caitlin, like she'll make a list of meals for the week. And I mean, I feel like they almost go to the store like every day. Like, I mean, they almost go shopping because they're like, okay, well, tonight we're going to do, you know, whatever, like we're going to do tacos. So like they go that day, get the vegetables and stuff for the tacos and make the tacos that night. And I'm just like, man, that's, I mean,
sorry, I wouldn't do that. I don't want to go to the store every day.
Well, no. And I mean, a lot of people don't, but I mean, you know, when you start cooking like that, like you said, right, you got stuff to make this asparagus soup, to make this coleslaw. That's it. You know, you're going back to the store in 2 to 3 days to get to figure out the next meals. Right. But again, like a lot of people always ask me, like, oh, you know, well, what do you know, like, what do you eat? Yeah. What do you eat? Like you're, you know, vegan or plant-based, you know? And I'm just like, well, I'm like, you can take a lot of meals and turn them like the exact thing I just said about like black bean tacos or burritos or whatever. Like you can do that without the fake cheese, and you're essentially doing like beans, you know, onions, tomato, avocado, like make a guacamole or something, right? Some lettuce, you know, you could even have fun with it and like kind of like saute the onions if you wanted to, like cook those up, or like you could really make it fun and whatever, and then throw it on some tortillas or some chips, or, you know, wrap it up. Plant-based. It's fucking vegetables and beans, you know?
Yeah. What kind of chips do you got? Plant-based?
Tortilla chips? How many brands of tortilla chips do you think have meat in them?
Well, maybe they have dairy in them.
Yeah, I mean, a basic, I mean, I try to buy stuff that has like not a ton of ingredients. So like, you know, tortilla chips, I want like the ingredients to be like corn tortillas and like
non-GMO corn.
Yeah, non-GMO corn, and then like
Are you there?
Hello.
Yeah.
And then like some oil.
What happened?
I don't know. I didn't go anywhere. I'm still here.
Yeah. You kind of cut out on me.
Oh yeah, it might. I mean, it might cut out. You've cut out a couple of times. I don't know if it's recording the cutouts, but it's just the signal. The signal.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All
so
right,
I don't. I mean, you can go plant based and have these kind of like comfort food type things. Nachos. Nachos are something that like we'll do a lot. And again, I think going that Mexican route, like it's very, very easy, because you're not doing a ton of ingredients, and you can kind of have fun with it. So,
yeah. Does the vegan cheese melt nicely on, say, beans or something?
Some
like
do.
If you're making nachos?
Yeah, some do. It just depends. I mean, it's going to be different, right? Like, I mean, because it's not real cheese. So,
because I remember when you lived here, we would make pizzas, and I would use real mozzarella, and you would use fake mozzarella. I remember it didn't look like your mozzarella really melted very well.
Yeah, and like, look, pizzas are another thing that like are very easy to go, plant-based or whatever. Like, you can leave, if you don't want to do the fake cheese, like you leave the cheese off entirely, right? So you buy your pizza crust. You could even you could make your pizza sauce from scratch if you wanted to, right? And then if not,
yeah, that's the other problem though with vegan. I mean, I have like tons and tons of recipes. Unfortunately, a lot of the recipes require that you use a food processor, which I have, but I've never really used. I'm not really quite sure how to use it. So,
but I feel like you could use. Don't you have don't you guys have a NutriBullet?
No, I have I have my blenders, but the Vitamix blender. It's different though. Food processor. I don't think the Vitamix can do food processing. I don't know. Maybe it can. I'd have to.
I mean, as far as like liquefying stuff or turning it into like sauces, like the NutriBullet does all that. It breaks it all down. But anyway,
so does the Vitamix. But I'm talking about things like they have like bakery products that you could make, like a excuse me, like a cobbler or something, where you use certain kind of flour and whatever. I don't know. I'd have to look at, they're weird recipes. Some of them, it's like, the black bean brownies.
Yeah.
Okay. Somehow that doesn't sound, I don't know. I mean, maybe if you blend them up or you grind them up in the food processor and you add cocoa and some other sweetener, maybe black beans can taste like brownies. I don't know. But somehow that just doesn't sound like that would work. But
you're like, excuse me, can I get a little sriracha sauce for the my black beans?
My black bean brownies, please. It's a black bean brownie, for God's sakes. Yeah, I'll have to, if I start, really making these recipes, then I'll have to have you come over and do taste testing and stuff.
Yeah, make a little extra. Okay, so we're 30 minutes in. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this here. And it's not like this. Funny. This isn't like a big thing. Like this is a very minor thing in our lives. But I did want to ask you about it, and I was like, let's just wait and let's talk about this on the podcast because I think it's very interesting. We've talked about it before. You have 2 cats. You have a big, fat, giant white cat named Bogey, and you have a smaller, more petite female black cat named Bacall.
Right.
And you call her Collie for short.
Yes.
I was on the phone with you a few weeks back, and we're talking and we're just catching up. And all of a sudden I hear you yelling, doing like the Sandy yell.
Stop it. What the fuck are you doing? Like that?
Just like that. And I was like, and then you said, get off of her. Get off of her. He's got the black fur in his mouth.
Oh my God. Here's this white cat with this big fat mouthful of black fur. And I couldn't fucking believe it.
And I was like, what's going on? And then you were like, I think Bogey's trying to eat Collie.
Really, I'm trying to get him to lose weight. So when he gets super hungry, he just goes after her. Yeah.
Yeah, like what's going on? I mean, you have two cats, and you're at the point where one of the cats now is trying to eat the other cat.
Well, to be honest with you, they've both ended up with mouthful of the other's fur at times. They generally, when they play, I think they're playing. I don't know. Maybe they're not. But sometimes they play nicely, and sometimes they get a little rough. And I hear them like downstairs, like, you know, and it's like, fuck. And then I walk downstairs and there's like globs of black hair on the, you know, I mean, not like big globs, but little globs of black hair. I mean, enough that you see somebody pulled it out with their mouth. So I don't know. And Bogey's like, he's got to be at least 20 pounds. And what do you think? I think she's probably maybe 11 pounds, maybe 10 pounds.
I mean, Bogey carries some fat around with him. You know,
he's got like cleavage.
No. It's
He
not
does.
no.
That's what Sam said. When Sam came home, she goes, "Oh, look, he has cleavage." And I swear to God, Josh, if you shaved his fur off his front, you would see that he has like boobies. I mean, cleavage boobies.
I feel like he's got like a sack of potatoes that he carries around like strapped to his waist. You know.
Yeah, he does that too. And
like he walks
runs,
and like it just
jiggles.
like jiggles. Yeah, it's like disgusting.
I know. He needs like weight. He needs skin removal surgery.
He needs like
weight loss and skin removal.
He needs like when they cut off your butt or they cut off your stomach and they put it in your butt, like
they cut off your stomach and put it in your butt. It's like a gastric sleeve.
Yeah, he needs like a gastric bypass. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he could use that, or either that, or I've thought of a cat-sized hamster wheel.
Oh, I think this is far beyond working out.
With a piece of food would be his temptation to run after it.
No, he'd just eat the plastic hamster wheel. He'd just eventually just eat the fucking wheel. You know.
I know. I'm really quite concerned about him because I think he's going to end up like diabetic or something. I mean, I don't feed him any more than I feed the other cat, but it just goes to show the difference in metabolism. And, you know, I mean, I'm just, like I said, I'm blown away. We'll have to put a picture up about how big my killer cat is.
Take like a real like blackmail type photo, like him on its back, just like fat rolling over the sides or something.
His fat exposed, really. Pay us the ransom or else. Yeah, I don't know. And the weird part about this cat is that he's so fucking timid, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's the biggest, like, I mean, you walk into a room that he's in and he like jets, he's gone. Like he doesn't, you make like the smallest like eye contact with him. Like he can't even look at you, you know, which like, I don't understand. Cause the cat's like probably 100 pounds and you know, like, I mean, if it was me versus the cat, like he could probably sit on me and suffocate me, you know?
He might be able to. He probably would start feasting on my carcass should I die in my sleep at night. Nobody discovers me for 2 or 3 days.
So a couple questions, and I don't want to get like morbid and whatever, but I just definitely, because we had talked about it when you had that whole screaming thing about, you know, the cat trying to eat the other cat. Like, what would you do if you came home and like really put yourself in this scenario here? Because I'm really curious. Because I mean, it's just like horrific, but it's just whatever. It's a podcast. You come home, you go grocery shopping or something, you come home and you're like, oh damn, I forgot to feed the cats, you know? And you like walk upstairs and Bogey is like halfway done eating like Collie's like legs, you know? Like it's like half like cat skeleton legs and he's like licking his paws, you know? And then like what would you...
He's taking a little, wait, does he have the legs in his mouth or has he eaten them and eating the meat off of them and they're like bare bone?
Yeah, bare bone. Yeah, bare bone. And he's like,
he's like cleaning himself.
Yes.
He's like licking his fur like, I just had the best meal ever.
100%. Like, well, what would you do? And would you be scared? Like, would you be like, oh my God, I'm next?
I'm going to tell you right now, I heard this a long time ago and I truly believe this is true. If cats were the same size as humans, we probably would not be alive. I think the cats would kill us. I think Bogey would kill me if he could.
Jesus, what a dark thought.
I mean, he loves me and he's very kind to me, but I think if he was like really hungry, he could go for me. I mean, if he was a fucking lion, don't you think?
My favorite is when you'll talk all nice. You'll be like, oh, there's my Bogey. Oh, there he is. There he is. And then like
big fat
Bogey will start,
shit cat.
Bogey will start like meowing like excessively. And you're like, okay, okay, Bogey. Okay, shut up. Okay, shut up. Shut the fuck up, Bogey. God, you're so fucking annoying. Shut the fuck up.
I'm going to tell you, Josh, sometimes I think that maybe I shouldn't have gotten cats because I hate to say this, but he bugs the crap out of me sometimes. He has this, first of all, if I knew that he was going to be as big as he is, I would have never gotten to him. I pretty much picked him out because he has really beautiful blue eyes, and when he was young, he looked like a white cat. He's more like oatmeal colored now. But I don't like big, huge cats. It's hard to even pick him up. Seriously. I can't get him I don't think I could get him in a cat carrier. It'd have to be a cat cage. I'd have to put a fucking bowl of food in there to get him in.
I mean, during the pandemic, when I lived there, like, cause like gyms were closed, like I was just working out by like curling Bogey in the morning, I was doing Bogey curls.
You could do well if he'd let you pick him up, but yeah. I mean, and he's so not used to being picked up, especially as an adult, because he's been so fucking big. But I also feel like because he's really timid, he misses out on a lot of stuff. Because, like, what's his name will come over and he'll play with the cat toys, the teasers and stuff. And Collie, she just loves it. She's like this big jumper. She'll just jump super high and, excuse me, anything to get the feather. But Bogey is, he goes and hides.
You got to wonder, I mean, because, and granted, I mean, you definitely will like raise your voice to the cats, but like, you've never hit the cats. You've never, like, that's not your style.
I've never kicked them. No, I've never, no,
And like, but it's so, and you've had him since he was a kitten, but like, you got to wonder, like, what the fuck happened to him to make him so, like, scared of, I mean, everything.
Everything.
Like, it's crazy.
The truck the loud truck that goes down the road,
the garbage truck comes and he fucking runs,
Yeah, he runs. Yeah. Like, where are you going to run to, you idiot? I mean,
you dumb idiot.
Not even at the fucking house. But then he does that. This is the thing that kills me. He does that alley cat, male cat. I just smelt a female and he meow. It's like really loud and disgusting. And I swear, I want to kick him. And I'm like, damn. I mean, I got him when he was, how old was he? 3 months old?
I mean, he was a kitten. He was tiny kitten.
And he was in a foster home with just one lady and several siblings. And I think his mother as well. And I don't know what happened between the time he was born and the time he was rescued. But yeah, he's very weird about that. He's also very weird about food. Like I really have to watch when I put the food down for both the cats. I really have to watch him. If I put Collie's food down and she doesn't want to eat, she won't eat right away. Bogey, on the other hand, if he sees that her food is available, he'll go and eat her food and save his food for later.
Like it's like the last meal. Like he doesn't know when he's going to eat again.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
And I feed them like wet food twice a day, and then I'm really careful about how much dry food I feed them. But it's awful. It really is. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think where you went wrong, to be honest with you, is, and I don't know if we've talked about it much on the podcast. Maybe we've discussed it, but there's no secret. Like, you had a cat. You had one cat before this pair that you have now, and And there was a very unfortunate accident that happened with a toy that he'd had, and he ended up having to go to the vet, and there's a whole emergency thing, and he ended up dying at the emergency. He'd had surgery or whatever, and it was, again, very unfortunate, and it sucks because that kind of stuff, they're animals, like, it just happens. Like I had a cat, and she had she was born with a bad heart. By the time she was 2, the heart disease had kind of kicked in, and there was nothing I could do. Like, the vets were like, she's going to die, and so it's very unfortunate when shit like that happens, whether it's accidental or it's genetic. But I think where you went wrong was that you were so adamant about being like, well, I want to have 2 cats now. I need to have 2. And I remember being like, Mom, just buy 1 cat. Just get 1 cat. You don't need 2. And you're like, no, because the one is going to get so bored when I'm not at home. And I'm just like, it's a fucking cat. It's okay. It's going to figure it out. And you're like, no. So
well, but you see, the reason I say that is because when the night that Bowie ate the items that killed him.
Which was your first cat. Your first cat had gotten into a toy and something had come loose on the toy and it ate it and it got lodged.
There was a teaser he ate both. He ate both of the eyeballs on this. It was like an inchworm teaser. And I worked that night. I had a coffee job. I did a wedding at the botanical garden. I came home like maybe 10 o'clock at night and there was the teaser and the entryway on the floor. And I thought, oh, I guess he must have carried it down here. But I never realized that had these two eyeballs on it that were just the perfect size to get lodged in the between the stomach and esophagus and the stomach. Perfect size. So I didn't know that. And anyway, by the time we found out, it was too late. We had the surgery that removed the one ball. One ball he threw up. The other ball he didn't had to be removed surgically, and then he died right after surgery. But my point was getting two cats. I feel like because I was out of the house that day doing my job that he was bored. And, he was part Sphinx, and I think Sphinx cats require a little bit more attention. They like to be with people. They're, very inquisitive. And he probably thought, well, let me see what this ball tastes like. Oh, look, it just swallowed it so easily. Wow. Let me have another one.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think that has knowing what you know now, right? Knowing what you know now, you have two cats, and yes, I do think that there are times that they play, but I think there's just as many times where Collie's off exploring, doing her own thing, and Bogey's doing his thing, sleeping. But like, I don't think that would have changed the outcome. I just think again, it was a tragic accident, and I think that, but that's where I think you had gone wrong, was getting the two cats. And you're like, I gotta have two. And, so you got two, you rescued Bogey, and then Collie, I guess, came from was it the same breeder that you had gotten the first cat from?
No, it was a different
someone different,
yeah, someone from Palm Springs.
But
couldn't find, no, the other lady wasn't making them anymore.
She wasn't putting them in the machine and making them.
Making the Sphinx outcross. That's the Sphinx cat with a Sphinx personality, but with just hair.
Would it be weird if you came home and Collie, the smaller cat, was eating Bogey? You'd be like, oh, thank God.
I'd be like, let me heat that up for you, honey. No.
Have you tried to put that in the microwave? Here, I got it for you.
Really?
7 seconds.
Do you want it at room temp? Because looking like it's a little cold to me.
I can help you out.
No, I mean, listen, I love both my cats. Just Bogey bugs me sometimes. And I think the other thing that really bugs me about him is that he always wants to eat. And so that's the other thing I have to think, what the fuck happened to him? I mean, he did have like 4 or 5 siblings. So maybe there wasn't a teat available for him when he needed it.
What was that?
A nipple, a teat.
A what?
A teat. That's what the cows have. I don't know what they call them on cats.
How do you spell that? How do you spell teat?
I would spell it T-double-E-T. How would you spell it?
Boot goot matite.
T-I-T-E? Tighty?
That's tight. That's actually tight. I would do like T-Y, T-E-Y-T-E? T-I-T?
No, that's weird too.
T-I-T.
Yeah,
it's
so
like on these T-I-Ts.
I don't know what those are, but so I don't know what the deal is with him, but that's the one thing that bugs me too, is that he's always wanting food.
But
so
you would think
like
that after all these, like how old is he now? 4, 7?
No, he's like 6 now. They just had birthdays.
All right, so you'd think after like fucking 6 years, like he would be like, "Hey, I'm pretty well taken care of. I've never been beat, right? Like, oh, here's these same people, I can smell them. I don't really need to run away from these people. And like, oh, and my food's coming up right after the black cat gets her food. Like, it's so bizarre,
Well, it just goes to show you how they're so stupid. they don't have the thought process that we do. You would think he would think that, but I'll bet he just thinks, oh, I wonder how long to my next meal. I mean, he probably doesn't even think that. He thinks nothing. Sometimes he sits there and just stares, and it's like, what the fuck is going on in your mind? I don't know. Cats will sit in the front of a window for hours. I see my cats do it.
He's literally just thinking about when's the next time I'm going to eat,
Yeah, really. With little visions of chickens, with those little, little comic strip with a little cloud that has the chicken leg in it.
But
I don't know.
He's just thinking of the collie leg, of the black cat leg,
There you go, the black cat leg.
He's like, if I ate this cat, I could get so much more food on the daily because I would get her food too.
No, but he's wrong about that. See, that's where he comes in and be really stupid, because I wouldn't double feed him, especially after he ate the little one. Couldn't do that, could I?
I feel like his voice is like such
it would be like rewarding him,
Like you come home from the market or something, and I feel like his voice is so like, hi, Sandy,
Well, I have to wonder if the weight. All right, so I don't know. I part of me thinks that once you get like a cat, like a male cat, fixed, spayed, neutered, that they stop producing testosterone, and they can end up with, being fat and stuff. I think the same thing with dogs.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of dogs that have been fixed, like male dogs that have been fixed that are not ginormous hippos,
But do they have the same issues? Eating issues?
No.
My cat has. What is that? He doesn't have anorexia or bulimia. He just has, what's the overeating?
I think it's pronounced overweight.
Overweight syndrome. Yeah, he's got that.
I think it's pronounced 2 dinners, the fourth meal. I think it's pronounced fourth meal.
Ay. I'll tell you, and it cost me a lot of money to feed 2 cats.
Yeah, you should have got one. You should have got one. You fucked up.
I know. Sam just recently got a cat, and at the first she wanted 2, and I said, no. I said, wait and see how you do with 1 first, because the expense is one thing. You go away, somebody's got to watch them. Or somebody's got to do something, scoop the cat box, Now
I mean, look, I don't care if you have a dog.
Yeah,
I don't care if you have a dog or a cat or multiple dogs or multiple cats. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work regardless, and I'm really glad that I had the experience to have a pet. And it was very tragic what happened with her. But, it was such a great time having her. But yeah, I mean, there's times where, I'd work all day, and like cats are a little bit different than dogs because they don't have to go out, But there was definitely times that I'd work all day and I would come home and, she'd be like waiting for me by the door. And I was just like, fuck, I'm sorry that I was gone for like 10 hours today, but it's like, I got to work. I got to pay those bills and buy your food,
There you go. Really. And that cat litter.
Yeah. And the cat litter. And hairless cats are a little bit more work because you have to bathe them and, they get this oil build up on their skin that, if you don't bathe them, the oil will just kill them. But you have to like clip their nails and clean their ears. I mean, it was like having a small child, but we were fine. It was fun. It was cool,
Yeah, that's more work than I want to do. I have never washed these. I did. Bowie had a couple baths, but these 2 cats have never had baths.
Yeah, you were
Bogey would probably run away.
You had your first cat and you were like all like anal, like, well, I mean, I'm going to wash him every couple weeks just because he's a clean cat. And then you got these, you're like, I'm not fucking washing these cats.
He was a great cat. And the only problem I had with him is that, what's his name would come over and play games with him. And one of the games he played with him was, I put on my oven mitt and the cat's laying on the ground and I tease the cat. So the cat is biting and clawing my oven mitt. Well, every now and again, the cat would get crazy and would try to claw and bite my leg. So it was like weird. It just would happen like spontaneously. And then I'd have to like pick the cat up and put it in another room for a little while. I don't know why that happened. But having said that, the other part of that cat that was great is that I trained that cat to ride in my car. We actually snuck that cat into our timeshare we went to the timeshare. We spent a week there, and we snuck the cat in and had the cat there with us for 5 days, and snuck the cat out. And he was good. He was really good about being in the car. We didn't keep him in the carrier in the car. The only problem was if you put the brakes on, they tend to move a bit. But he was good. He was a good cat. And again, he wasn't destructive as far as clawing up the furniture so much.
Yeah, I feel like he was good. I feel like he, and that's the thing is you just never know. You never know what you're going to get, But
he did used to jump from my countertop to the top of my refrigerator. That cat, I swear to God, that's a big fucking jump.
Are you turning around and looking at it right now? You're like,
I was, yeah. I'm like, yeah, because these cats have never done it, and I don't, I don't know.
Bogey, the fat cat couldn't do it. There's not a chance.
No.
He'd fucking sink.
There are places like in my house that the black cat can go that Bogey could never. He couldn't jump that high. He can jump on top of the table, surprisingly, but
God, it's got to be. He's gonna have bad legs at some point. 'Cause that's a lot of weight to carry around.
Bad legs, probably diabetes. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I have to start playing with him more and get him running around, because I think that's the only way I can get him to lose weight. He's not, I can cut back on his food a bit more, but
what if you went 2 or 3 days without feeding him, just to kind of,
I would have to be out of the house. I would not be able to be in the house. He probably would start eating other shit.
He's like
didn't your friends, didn't Peter and Caitlin have a video of their dog who had torn apart?
Oh, it was the toilet paper boxes. I mean, he eats the leaves on their plants, the carpet. It's crazy.
Tell him to make sure those plants aren't poisonous. But here's the thing: that's what I think Bogey would do if I left the house for 3 days and nobody was here to feed him. He'd probably start feasting on that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
He'd find something, oh, look, it's a pillow. It's soft. It's got some fur on it. I could eat this.
You fucking cats are crazy. Right. So moral of the story is
don't get two.
I don't know. I was hoping you'd come up with something epic.
One.
Just get start with one.
I don't have a moral for the story. The really shameful part is that when you get a kitten, you really have no idea what it's going to look like when it's full grown.
I think it's any kind of animal. When you get any sort of you get any sort of dog, cat, parrot, bird, hamster, whatever. Well, hamster, maybe not hamster.
Well, no, but if you buy from a breeder, and you know what the mother and the father look like, then you might have a chance of kind of figuring it out. But if it's a rescue animal. You have no idea.
You have no idea.
You may know the mother, you may not. So,
but even
you saw the litter that Bogey came from. There was lots of different colors in there.
Yeah. But even Peter and Caitlin, they have a newish dog. I believe we've talked about it. And they bought their dog from a breeder. It's a very specific breed of dog. And the dog was very cute when he was a puppy. He still is a puppy, maybe 6 months or whatever. But that dog is going to be humongous.
I know. I have to say, the bigger he gets, the less cute he is.
100%. And he looks exactly like Peter's son, which is crazy.
Well, they say that people look like their pets.
Oh, there's been several people that have gone to Peter and been like, your dog looks just like your son. And Peter's like, oh, weird. I don't see it. And I'm like, and I pointed it out first. I was sending him side by side photos of the dog and his son. And I'm like, Peter, the dog is a twin to your son. And he's just like, oh, I don't know. And now there's been several people that have been like, oh yeah. It's identical. If Peter's son was a dog, it would be their dog.
Too bad we can't post those pictures, huh?
That would be weird. Or it's so what are we posting the photos of today? It's Peter's kids.
Peter's son and Peter's dog. Well, I'm going to tell you, there's, oftentimes when I drive down the street and I see people walking their dog, I do notice, for some reason, dogs and owners kind of look alike. There's just, I don't know what it is, but take notice of it.
It's very odd. Very, very odd. I've noticed. It's very odd.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think that it was.
I wonder if the owner gets to be more like the dog, or the dog gets to be more like the owner. Which do you think?
The dog gets to be more like the owner. You know.
You think? I don't know. Are dogs that smart?
Like Peter starts eating toilet paper. You know.
And that's where the dog got it from.
Well, no, like he's turning more into the dog. Like he's like,
oh.
Like he's like, hey, you want to come for dinner tonight? I'm like, what? He's like, oh, well, Caitlin's having some, a burger, and the kids are having, I'm just gonna do some raw toilet paper.
I'll bet it cost them a fortune to feed that dog.
Oh, I mean, I think feeding the dog, I think everything. I mean, but I mean that it's a huge, I mean, anyone that has a pet or has had a pet knows. I mean,
do they take him out and walk him every day?
Oh yeah,
like
multiple times,
several times a day. Yeah.
They had this cute like little.
I mean, I know when. Wait. Go ahead.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I know when your father and I were married, we had a Doberman for a while, and unfortunately, nobody really took him out and walked him, and he really needed that. He would have been much mellower had he been walked, a couple times a day, long walks.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I've had several dogs in my life, and I just, I can't imagine not taking the dog out 3-4 times a day, and letting the dog not only pee and poop, but like let the dog, go. I mean, that's like the highlight of the dog's day. That's incredible, So,
well, we had a small yard, so the dog could actually pee and poop in the backyard. That wasn't a problem. It's just that the dog had energy. The dog.
Yeah, I think taking the dogs for a walk. You can
only run
huge.
up and down the stairs so many times,
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway.
There was something I was going to say. Oh yeah, Peter. They had this cute little dog like paw washer, like little. It's like this like little like silicone type of rubber thing with like you fill the bottom up with water, and it's got like little scrubbies. So you come in, you like after the walk, you like stick the dog's foot in it, and it gets like soaked in it's like soapy water, and then you pull it out, and then you like wipe it off with a towel. And Peter's like, "Isn't this great?" And I'm like, "You guys do that 3 to 4 times a day?" He's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Oh, let's talk in 6 months when you no longer are doing that,"
Really? What the fuck? Seriously? Why don't you just if you really want to clean, you just get a wet rag and wipe his paw.
Just teach the dog to wipe his paws before he comes in,
Really? There you go.
And at that point, you just teach the dog to poop and pee in the toilet, and then you don't even got to take him outside.
Then you paws
never going to get dirty.
No, but then you got to give him a little workout in the garage.
That's true.
Again, one of those the hamster wheel, the large size dog hamster wheel.
Well, they have like a SoulCycle bike. Put the dog on the bike. Let's let it pedal.
I'm picturing that right now. That looks a little crazy to me, but anyway, the dog
like Peter's cycling, and like the dog's like he's got like the dog on like a backpack,
The dog full grown in a backpack.
Yeah,
the dog is a little puppy.
It's got like this like 150-pound dog just like strapped to his back.
That dog's gonna be bigger than Peter probably.
It's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be like the size of a car. It's crazy.
I know. I don't know why you'd want a dog that big, unless
like a small horse,
on a farm or something.
Yeah,
I know.
You're like, hey, let's go get the water from the well, and you like ride on the back of the dog down the driveway to get the well water and like bring it back,
Yeah, and then the dog can carry it back on that little stick with the two buckets on each end.
Exactly.
There you go.
All right, I got nothing else.
Yeah, I don't have anything else either. Oh God. Just hurt my arm. I moved it.
That's what it's come to.
Yeah, that's what it's come to. Slowly but surely deteriorating inch by inch, breath by breath.
Okay,
step by step. All right. Shall I go on?
No.
Anyway, yeah, so we'll see what Sam's going to animate for us this week.
Yeah, this is not a very funny episode, but it was definitely something that I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on, because we didn't talk about it when it happened, and I just thought about the cats eating each other. If you guys need to get a hold of us, you can on Instagram at My Mom Sandy Podcast. You guys can always shoot us an email, mymomsandypodcast@gmail.com. And we have, of course, a new episode that goes up every Tuesday. And you guys can always check out the Instagram page for the animations that go with each episode. And those are fun. And thank you to Sam. We're also on TikTok now, which is great. Sam got us a TikTok page going, which me being 39, I have no idea what TikTok has to do. But people are watching the little cartoons, so it's good.
It's the way China keeps track of us. That's what TikTok does.
I don't know if that's exactly the sole purpose of TikTok, but yeah. So,
how would you know? They wouldn't tell you the truth anyway.
Got it. So, and then you guys can join us every Tuesday for Sandy's Conspiracy Theories. That should be a fucking podcast. Sandy's Conspiracy Theories.
There you go. I'd have to come up with a new one all the time.
Or you'd have no problem.
On the old ones?
You would have no problem. Each week, a new fucking thing. Well, you know what I read this week? Well,
I read that
you know what I saw on the TV?
Antibodies from that coronavirus, from that COVID-19 infection may last a whole fucking year.
A lifetime.
Why, I ask, are they pushing the vaccines as they are?
Well,
I mean, I kind of wish I had waited.
Not everyone got the vaccine.
I know. I wish I.
Not everyone had COVID.
I know. I wish I had waited to. I know, but that's my new conspiracy theory. I wish I had waited to get the vaccine because now, like, everyone's giving shit away. Like, you can win a year's free groceries from Ralph's. You can, get a free beer from President Biden. I don't know how that works. You can get if you're in Chicago, they've got those, I think it's Chicago or somewhere in Illinois, they've got the $1 million lottery type thing. I mean,
and you can still do that. You just have to show your vaccine card.
Well, I think the Ralph's one you have to do, I think you have to get the vaccine there. Should I go get double dosed?
Double dose. You like that, huh?
Yeah.
Give her that
I am
double
so
dose.
Vaccinated. I am so vaccinated I can't stand it. I don't think I would want to get another dose. I would feel like that's kind of overkill at this point. Because who knows what the future is going to bring. But anyway, well, I'll have to look around and see what sweepstakes I can enter with my COVID vaccine card. I know I can get the whatchamacallit donuts.
I like that now you're like there's been all these things that you can get for free, and now you're just kind of like, well, I want to get these free things. It's like, great, go to fucking. I
went to the mall yesterday.
What'd they give you?
Nothing. I went to Bath and Body Works. It's the first time I've been into the mall. I mean, the place is like fucking dead, but the Wetzel's Pretzels was there. I almost bought one, and then I thought, oh, it's not plant-based.
Good call.
I don't know if it is or not, but they're expensive, and I figured I didn't really need it. But but that was kind of weird to go to the mall.
Okay, well, we can maybe talk about that we're over an hour now, so we can maybe talk about that on next episode because this is going.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about it. I just was kind of an interesting. I mean, like I said, I know you've been several times, but I haven't. So
that's good. I'm glad.
I'm slowly making my way back into life.
I love it. You keep doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't got anything else. I've already told everyone how to get a hold of us. I told everyone when our podcast is going to be up, and I told everyone to check the Instagram page for the cartoons. So we appreciate all the support.
That's right.
Appreciate you guys still listening. And if you would like a personalized phone call from Sandy, just email us your phone number and she'll call you and she'll talk and she'll tell you. She'll tell you all about the fat cat.
I'll tell you all about the fat cat. I'll give you my latest conspiracy theory, whatever you need.
All right. Wrap it up.
All right. Very good.